In this video I'm going to show you how you can import any article or ebook or basically any text into the HighSpeedLanguage program in order to learn for it. This is good if you're learning any language. You can find text in that language, whether it be books or websites, news articles, anything. If you can get the text, you can import it into the program. So I'll show you how to do that. First, you would open the HighSpeedLanguage program, which will give you this screen. Then we'll create a new deck. Let's just call it Thai, because I'll import a Thai article. Thai, and press save. That will create the new file for us and open up that file. Okay, it's opened that file and the file's empty, so this message has came up. So now we need to put some content in our file. So we do that by clicking Deck, Create Facts, and Import Facts. Now we need to get our content of what we want to import. So I've got a browser open here, and I've got a news website with a news article here. So this is the content we're going to learn from. And when I mean learn from, what we're going to do is we're going to import it so it's imported basically sentence by sentence. That way we can read one sentence. If there's any new vocabulary in that sentence, we can click the words, we can look them up in various online dictionaries. We can hear the words pronounced by a synthesized voice. And yeah, so we can get all the information we need about the sentence, and we can find out what it means. Now there's not going to be, and we can also get translations for the sentences, which are not going to be perfect. If you're new and starting out with a language, it may be good to not do this and find content that already has translations. For this, there's not going to be any translations, but the program can do some basic translations of the text. It won't be right all the time. So let's just select this text and copy it. Now go back to the HighSpeedLanguage program into the import screen. First, what we need to do is we need to split the file, split the text into sentences. So under import facts, we've got split tool. We're going to just paste our text in here. Now what we want to do is we want to get it basically line by line. So first, let's delete any new lines. So we'll go under find, we'll just press enter for a new line, and we'll replace that with nothing. So there's nothing in replace. Let's try that. Okay, that's put it all into one block of text there. So now what we're going to do, in Thai there's not actually spaces between the words. There's a space basically at the end of every sentence, but there's also spaces around numbers and names. So that will mean that when numbers are imported, they'll be on in their own exercise, and that's fine. We can just skip through that. Okay, so we've got our block of text here, so we'll search for a space and we will replace that space with a new line. So let's try that, find and replace. Okay, there, we're done. So now we've got this here, which is all the text we want, line by line. You'll see with Thai, it's got some numbers on each line. That's not optimal, but it's really not a problem. You really want one sentence per line. And now we want to open any spreadsheet program we have. So I'm not sure what's on this computer here. I think you could use Google Sheets. That would work fine. That's free online. This has LibreOffice, so let's open that one up. And I think it's LibreOffice Calc. This is also a free one. It's just a spreadsheet program, but easiest is probably just use the Google Sheets. If you have a Google account logged in, just search for Google Sheets and that will bring up a spreadsheet. So what we want to do with the spreadsheet, we want to select all this text, copy that, and we're going to paste this in the second column. So just Control V to paste that in there. And we just want to paste the text. That looks like it's all fine there. Okay, so we've got that. Now in the first column we need to specify the type of exercise that we're going to use. So let's just close this split tool. We're finished with that. Under this import screen here, you've got templates, then you've got your TSV, which is tab separated value, or your file. So that is what we'll copy and paste from the spreadsheet, and then we merge the content with these templates. So these templates represent exercise types. So for this one, we're only going to be reading. So we'll look for an exercise just for reading. So here we've got reading, read. We'll look through this. Now this is the template here. C stands for concept. You don't really need to know that much about this. There's more details in the help, but for this particular file, we don't need to specify any concepts for the audio. So we'll just type in none there. Question delay. This is how long we have to answer the question. So I'd like to have the timer ticking just so it shows me how much time I'm taking. So we'll just say 30 seconds, and that will be, that should be more than enough. 30 seconds. And under here, this is the actual content of the exercise. F stands for front. So that's the front of, just imagine as a flashcard. And this C is, L is for label. So all we need to do is, because here we're going to have the exercise or the template type or the exercise type in the first one, and in B we're going to have the text. So we'll type in 1 here. That's the first piece of information we want to replace into this spot in the exercise, and that C stands for content. So this is the front of the card, and this is the content of the L label on the front of the card. You can get quite advanced with this, but for this you don't need to do anything more than that. So we'll just update that to save that. Now we need, this says reading read here, so we'll just copy that. That's the name of the template, and as I said, we need to put that in, oops, let's just copy just the reading read. We'll just copy that in here, and we need to fill it down so it's on every line. Just bring that down. And how we do that is in Excel, we just click this little square down here. If we drag down here, drag it all the way down to the bottom, and that will fill it in there, reading read. So the first column, it's always going to be our exercise type, and in the subsequent columns, it's going to be the data related to the exercise. And as this is just for reading, it only has one bit of data, and that's the Thai text. So now we're going to select all of that. We're going to copy it, go back into the import screen. We're going to paste it in here, our data. We'll delete that last line. So we've got all our data here. It's got a tab between the values. We'll merge the TSV with the template up here, and you'll see what we'll get. So now in this down here, we've got all the templates with the data. So you can see here under front, C for content, we now have the Thai text, and that will be our first line. So we'll import that. Done. We're done now. Now you can see here we've got up here we've got 91 exercises or facts or flashcards or whatever you want to call them in this deck. Now we'll just save that. The first time you save it might take a moment because it's got to save all that new data. That's done. Now under deck options, we want to specify the languages. So under languages, go to language. We don't need to specify any input language because we're not typing anything. We specify our native language, which we're English, and the foreign language is Thai. So let's just search down here for Thai. There it is there. That just specifies the languages used in this file, and that is needed in order for us to be able to easily look up the new words for the dictionaries to work. So I'll press save. Then we can specify how we want the file to use to work under deck options. This is all sort of more complicated settings, but by default they'll be pretty much, should be fine. It really depends. If the content's hard, you can change around with these settings. Basically we'll set it to introduce us to 10 new things at a time, a maximum of 10, and we will review them basically as soon as they're introduced, and we press next. We want to review them. So what we'll say, we'll review 30% of the flashcards waiting to be learned every time we see a new exercise or a new flashcard. So we'll press save, and now we're done. That's it. So you could do that with any articles. You could do that with 1,000 articles. You could do that with a whole book, 100-page book, 1,000-page book, and then this allows you to slowly work through that book sentence by sentence, reading each sentence and looking up the unknown words, and then I'll show you what we'll do. So we're done, we're ready to go. We'll press continue. So we'll go down to learn. Here we are. So this is our first sentence which is coming up, and okay, so this is Thai. You won't be able to read this obviously. So this says a person planted a bomb. So I don't know if, hopefully I can say that on YouTube, but should be all right. So let's say we didn't know this word here. This is the criminal or bad person. If we didn't know this, we could just click on it and we would go translate the selected word. This says gangster. That's, I guess, one translation. Or we could click on it and we could go get definition, translation, example sentences, images and text. So we'll do that.
Right.
And there we hear that word being pronounced by a synthesized voice, and we can see various images here. We can get more images. If we can see one that looks obviously like a bad criminal, we can just choose. Let's just choose this one here. Click on that. That will actually add it to our notes down here. We'll add the word gangster in there. So we'll close this lookup. So now you've got a picture of, I guess that's a criminal, and you've got the translation. So it says, so we can look up the words. Now that, for example, in this, if this sentence we only knew one word, so we've looked it up, we've found the information. Also, you can add your own dictionaries in here. I'm not going to add them now, but for the Thai ones, you would add a bunch of Thai dictionaries. There's a whole lot of example dictionaries in here. We can edit those, add a new custom dictionary to menu, and so because I'm using a Thai content, I'll just remove all these. I'll show you how it's done. Let's remove all these, and let's find a Thai dictionary website. I think this website has it here. Let's search for, I think it's Long Do Dictionary. Okay. Long Do Dictionary. Okay, we type in our word here. So we'll just type in any word for this example. So eat. Look that up. Now the important thing is to look up in the address here. You've got the location of this website, and you've got the keyword here. That's the word I looked up. So we want to copy that, go back into our HighSpeedLanguage into deck options, and we're going to add a web lookup here. Click on there. So we'll type the name of the dictionary. It was Long Do is the name of the dictionary service. Now for the URL, we'll add it in here, and we need to, where there's the word we looked up, we need to replace that with this word. And now when we do any further lookup, it's going to replace that with our keyword. So I press OK, save, continue. Okay, so now this particular word which we looked up on the services, the various web services that gave us the definition gangster, we're going to look it up in this long do dictionary, which is the one we've chosen to use. Click that up and you'll see here within the program it opens a new web browser, and it actually opens up that dictionary which we were just at a moment ago and looks up that word. So here we've got some better definitions: outlaw, bandit, criminal, fellow, murderer, and we can zoom in on that one. And many different, there's definitions in Thai. So we could get a bunch of these definitions. We think maybe that's good enough. We've got examples. We can select all that text, just drag over it, then drag that down into our notes. We can add that one to say we wanted a definition in Thai. We'll drag that down in here. And there's some French, and there we go, felon. So criminal, outlaw, let's just add that to our notes as well, if I can select it. Felon, add that in there, and we can close this lookup here. So now you can see with this sentence, just say we only didn't know that one word, we would read it and we can look up that word and find so much information on that word. We can find pictures, we can get the audio. Again, to get the audio, you can right click and go text to speech. And there we can hear it there. We can play it slower, and we can add that audio actually to a note here on the left. So you can see here, you can do a lot of searching and find out a whole lot of information about the new words that you come across. And if you're a language learner and you're learning some text, you're definitely going to have a lot of new words in the text you want to read. So then we would go next. And so basically this is our next sentence. So let's say we knew this sentence, we didn't want to, there was nothing new in that one, we could just go finish straight away. Then that will go to our next sentence. And let's say we know that one as well. So we just go finish, finish. And I just want to check the deck options here. Okay, let's say this is a word we didn't know here, which is walk. We'll go, let's look that one up. Okay, so that's walk. We'll add that to our notes. Next. Okay, now we've got two in the learning mode. Here you can see, so there's two sentences which we looked up new words for and we want to review. Now they're going to keep popping up occasionally, as well as we're going to get new sentences in here. This is another new sentence. We could say we know that one, finish. And again, now this one which came up, which we looked up before, which was criminal, and that comes up. So it allows us to keep reviewing it while we're being introduced to the new sentences. You can turn that off. It all comes down to your deck options. You could have it so you read 100 lines. Once you've read 100 lines, then you review all of the sentences which have the new content. And to do that, you would just turn off this learn early. So we could turn off the learn early and we would put in 100 here and 100 here and 100 here. We don't actually need, that's for the concepts. There's only one concept, but we just really need 100 in these two boxes, but that's fine to put 100 in all of them. And what that would mean now is our settings in, we would read 100 lines. After we've read 100 lines, we would go through the learning process for those words, and then once we've familiar with the new words, we would click on take out of learning mode. Let's see, I'll turn the learning back on. I'll just turn it back to what it was. Let's just turn this down to 5, just for an example. Let's put all these down to 5. We can, that one, top one doesn't really matter for the concepts because there's no concepts in this. So we'll just put 5, save. Okay, continue. Okay, so because we've already gone through more than 5, they're going to come up as learning. So if we go next, you'll see it will just go through the 3 which are already in our learning mode. It will just keep repeating over them, and we would just do this until we're familiar. We can read it and we can understand it, and we can remember the words fairly well. Then once we've done that, we'll click take out of learning mode. So we'll do that now, and now it's come up as random. The random is that it will randomly have you review your exercises depending on how often you have that set up. You can set that up in here. How often to get a random fact every 15, say, flashcards or exercises you do. Next, say take that out of learning mode, take that out of learning mode. Now you've noticed we were in learn mode. Now we've gone over to overstudy mode. If you look up here, we've got 84 new, 3 in overstudy. And what that means is that these 3 which had new words, 3 exercises or sentences which had new words, are going to be reviewed in the future according to whatever settings we have set up. But they're not due yet to be reviewed. And if they were due, we would just click on review and they would come up. But if you want to do extra reviews, you can do that using this overstudy. So let's have a look here. So across the bottom here, you have the priorities, the priority for each particular exercise. We've just got that automatically set on the highest priority here for what we've put in there. So the point of a priority is which I've explained in the other videos, is when you review things, you can specify how often they will be reviewed. So you could have priority 1 to review it 10 times, priority 2 to review it 7 times, and priority 3 to review it 5 times. So we'll set that up and I'll show you how that works here. So we'll click on Deck, Edit Priorities. Okay, let's just remove priority 4. We won't use that. We'll just use 3 priorities. That'll be fine. That'll be like high priority, medium, and low priority. So if we click on, this says for priority 1, show us in the first year 19 times and a total of 20 times. If you're new to the language, that may be a lot. For me, it's a lot. I probably only really want to review, even if I'm learning a new language, something maybe 10 times maximum. So we'll edit this and we'll say create an exponential review timeline. So say number of repetitions, we'll say, or reviews, we'll say 10 over a number of days. I like to keep it short, so we'll say 60 days. We'll go to create timeline. So that's going to give us 10 reviews over 60 days after 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 11 days, 17 days, 26 days, 39 days, and 60 days. So we'll save that. Then for the medium priority, we'll edit that one, and we will say 6 reviews over 40 days. Oh, it was 60 days we did before. 60 days. So there we've got our 6 reviews spread over the 60 days. This is over sort of an increasing interval. You can specify your own intervals here. What works for me may be slightly different to you. You might want to review it after day 1, day 2, day 3, and then have a wait for a week and then review it twice. It's up to you. By default, this will create slowly increasing intervals. So I'll save that. And for our lowest priority, number 3, we'll say number of repetitions. So we'll say 3 over 60 days. Create timeline, save, and there we go. So we've got our 3 priorities. Well, we're going to put everything on 6, and if we find, let's say we find there's the content is complicated, we need to review it more, we can put the priority to 1, and then we can review it more often. Or if it's something we already know but we just want to review it a few times, we can put the priority to the lowest, which is 3. So we'll just close it. That's done. If we go deck, edit deck, we can see all of our 91 sentences or cards. We will just increase the priority number so they're all the middle, so that you can see here they're all number 2 priority. Continue. So now we're in overstudy mode. You can see it's all on this middle priority. Now if this had a word in it which we were having troubles with and we wanted to review a little bit more, we could just click this one over there, and then we can specify when our next review is, when we would like our next review. So we can say after in 1 day, and then it will be after 0.7 days, and so forth. So let's just click that, and yeah, that's it. Now it's gone to the next exercise. So really that's all you need to do. I use this technique a lot, and I've used it to learn a lot of Thai, reading hundreds of news articles. What I do is I just go to the news site, I copy 30 or 40 news articles on many different topics, I put them in a text file, then I use the split tool. You can also use other text tools. There's actually a good tool called Notepad++ that allows you to do a lot of manipulation of the text. You don't really need to do that. You could just use the split tool, which I showed you under deck, create, and import. So yeah, I put all of I split the, say, 30 news articles into sentences, and I import them as I showed you how to do here. And I might spend a few days reading through them, or whenever I have time reading through them. If there's nothing new in the sentence, I just press finish straight away and I never see it again. So at the end of the day, I only review the new content, and I'm very easily able to find out the new vocabulary, listen to the pronunciations. Using this technique, if you're for any language, you can really progress very, very fast. I wouldn't recommend this technique if you're very new to a language, because if you're new to a language, you want content which is easier than just some news articles. If you could find some really easy phrases online, you could do that. That would work well, and I've done that before. But again, if you're new to a language, as I've mentioned in other videos, you want to have audio. You want to have audio with it. So if you're new to a language, you want to either try and find some content which is created, and you can click on File and download decks, see if there's something there. If there's nothing there, you can look in other programs, like for example Anki is a free program which I've spoken about in my other videos. Look under the shared decks. You can look in there and you can export those, and then you can import them into the HighSpeedLanguage program to use them here. Or what you could do, you could find, say, a phrase book, and if it doesn't have audio, you could get somebody to record it online. You could find somebody, there's various websites which you can hire people to work for you. You can say, can you record these audios for me? Just give them a spreadsheet, and say name it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can import that along with the audio into the HighSpeedLanguage program. And I've done that before. I'm learning Indonesian at the moment. I found some content, some phrases, and about 1,800, and I've worked through that, and that was really helpful. By no means is it the best content for a new learner. It's much better if you can find some content which maybe a teacher has put together, and they've put together that's more interactive with images, comprehension questions, videos, and various things like that. That will be more interactive, but it's hard to get that. So just for if you can't get any of that, you can just import these different phrases, get them recorded, and that works really well. That will probably work better than any other language course that you can find. Using this technique, doing this, I can learn hundreds of words a day. It depends on how much time I have, and I won't forget them. If I'm more advanced in a language, say for me Thai, I read the news in Thai, there's still words I come across which I don't know. I can review them 3 times and I'll know them, and I'll be able to remember them for a very long time. It's like English, that's my native language, so I could even use this for English. If I was reading some complicated text and I wanted to review just the new words I came across, I could use that. In English, again, because of my native language, I would only want to review something maybe 2 or 3 times, and that would be enough. If I was newer to a language, I'd probably want to review it more, 5 or 6 times. So this is a very, very powerful tool for learning a language. Reading in a language is a very good way, once you're got to a intermediate level, to improve your skills, and you really can improve yourself very fast once you get to that media level. If you just start reading as much as you can and looking up the unknown words and reviewing the unknown words, and you can do that all with this HighSpeedLanguage program, and it's free to do that. You can download the program for free off the website. You can do all this for free. So yeah, if you are learning a language, any language pretty much will work. You should definitely get this program and create some content yourself, have some content created. If you do create some good content, you can share it. You can export it under export for sale or distribution, then upload it to the website, and you can sell it if you want to sell it for, depending on what it is, however much money you want. That can help other learners and they can buy it. And that will, so that way, if you can't find anything good for yourself, you can spend some money to have it created, and then you can sell it to others. So I think that covers it for this video. You just need to understand that this is a very powerful tool for learning languages at any level, and especially if you're at the intermediate level and you need to read. But think about this compared to picking up a book. Let's say you picked up a book and you looked up some new words, or you start reading the book, you come across a new word. How are you going to search for it? With this, you can just click on the word, search for it in a second, in many different sources. You can add the notes right here. You can look up pictures, you can have the word pronounced, and then you can review it. So compared to just reading a book, standard book, this is so much more powerful. So yeah, just find some content which you're interested in and follow what I've done in this video, and you should be learning at a very, very fast pace. So thanks for your time.